Looking at Genesis 1 here, we see it says, let there be light. Okay, now most people I talk to say, oh, that's Jesus. You know, if that's true, why would it say, let there be light? Why does he have to let himself? Because, I mean, he's the one who, that's him speaking. That word God there means Jesus. So why would he say, let there be myself or something? How do we know it's Jesus? Because he's the creator. There's not a shortage of verses that say that. Hebrews 1:2, by his son whom he hath appointed heir of the worlds, by whom he made the worlds. Okay, and here's Colossians 1:16-17, for by him were all things made, that are in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions, principalities or powers. All things are created by him and for him. There's a ton of these verses that say this. Okay, so we can disregard the idea that this is referring to Jesus. So what is this light? And the answer is, I'm not sure. I just know it's not the sun. Okay, because the sun is referred to down here on the fourth day. Lights in the sky are created. So, and the issue that we're discussing here in this video is, why is the vegetation created before the light? I've seen all kinds of people in a big fuss about this. Oh, this is such a problem because the vegetation was created the day before the sun, 24 hours before the sun. And so, moving aside, so this I think is put to bed. This could be the cosmic background radiation. There might be another kind of light. Scientists say that they're detecting a light that is old, that's everywhere, from the early universe, called the cosmic background radiation. So if that's true, that would seem that is probably what this is, another kind of light that's everywhere. And for whatever reasons, it's not visible to us now, faded out, whatever. But we know that this is not God talking about himself. So anyway, moving on, this is kind of a simple issue. This vegetation was created on the third day, and the lights in the sky on the fourth. And I see people everywhere saying, oh, how could this be? Because then all the plants will die. One day before. And that is not a problem, because plants, we know, can survive easily one day without any photons. No problem. Just go ahead and put your tomato plant in the closet for one day, block off all light, and you'll see it does just fine after you bring it back out. So why is there a problem here? There isn't a problem in Scripture. This is, God creates the plants first and the sun second. And you've got 24 hours of the plants apparently just in this other light. As a further point, that light probably was sufficient for the plants. Maybe, I don't know. Doesn't specifically say that there, but you wonder. So, but disregarding that, there's no problem here in Scripture. And I don't know what everybody's talking about, saying there's a problem. I think the early New Testament church might have said this is an issue right here, 1 Peter 3:8. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day. Now, the early church, there was some movements to try to say that the Genesis story, these days are actually 1,000-year intervals, and we're in the seventh one now, or about to enter the seventh one. That is not possible to be correct, because look at the context of this. This is about the end times. I write about this in my book, Hyper Calvinist Universal Salvation. I have a whole chapter on this. This is about the end times, the end of the world in the millennium. That 1,000 years is like a day, and that day is like 1,000 years. It's apparently some extremely, there's a whole lot to this theology that people just don't discuss. Often in the big money churches, which really just don't discuss the end times at all, to my experience. And when they do, they have quick little terse things that are inaccurate and so forth. So that's a big area where the contemporary, quote, church, unquote, the money church of the modern world is making a huge mistake. They're just ignoring a third of the Bible and saying that they're the experts in Scripture, but they ignore a third of the Bible. So anyways, that's why they get this confused. This is clearly about the end, so that can be disregarded as having something to do with Genesis 3, as if this is 1,000 years, this day. It's not. It's 24 hours. And that's what the Lord has told us the word day means in the English language. And so therefore I take this as being one 24-hour period. If that were not the case, then the English language would not be in accord with the King James Bible, and people would be being deceived. which is not happening. And there's no reason for me to not say this is one day. I know some people can say, oh, the Hebrew is such, and if you go look, there's a secret meaning to this that nobody knows except the one person who studies Hebrew. I just reject all that kind of stuff, because God wrote the Bible for the whole world, Mark 16:15, and every single passage, sentence, word is for everyone. And it can't be just the one guy who knows Hebrew learns the truth here, and everybody else is deceived. That's not how it works. We don't need Hebrew, and we just need the King James Bible, the one without contradictions, and the true one. And that tells us exactly what's going on. So there's no contradiction here. I don't know what people are thinking, why this is so difficult to put together. 24 hours, 24 hours. There's 24 hours of darkness, the plants are in, and then they have sunlight. Apparently they weren't even in darkness, because they had this light. So no issue, no contradiction. The Bible's completely consistent. Man just does not understand, because his mind is a little teeny finite thing with, forgetting what he's doing half the time, one thought after the other, where God is an infinite, supernatural mind of omnipresent light and love and forgiveness.